Juliet was just an ordinary veterinarian, but a witch used forbidden magic to turn her into one of them. She couldn't control the witch's magical powers yet, and that made all the glassware in the house shatter instantly. When Juliet calmed down, she felt an unprecedented fear. Her fiancé Nick was a monster hunter, and if he found out she'd become a witch, their relationship would definitely fall apart. Worse, she might even die at his hands. Instead of telling Nick about it, Juliet went to see her ex-boyfriend Sean. Sean had half-witch blood, and she hoped he could help her turn back into a normal human. But Sean's abilities weren't strong enough to turn Juliet back, so he recommended someone to her. Someone the witch clan had abandoned. Soon, Juliet followed the address Sean gave her and arrived at Henrietta's house. Henrietta was extremely powerful, even though she used forbidden magic without restraint. No other witch dared to trouble her, and Henrietta could indeed solve Juliet's problem and turn her back into an ordinary human. She then drew Juliet's blood, planning to use it to make a medium for the magic, a way to reverse the transformation. But this magic medium needed 3 days to cultivate, so she told Juliet to go home and wait for her call. Little did they know, late at night, Henrietta suddenly saw a lot of foam gushing out of the vessel holding the magic medium. That foam was highly corrosive. It burned a big hole right through the table, but the flowing foam didn't slow down at all. Instead, it kept corroding downward, eventually forming a bottomless black hole. This signaled that Juliet's body contained a huge amount of magical energy. She could never turn back into a normal human again. Juliet went home in a bad mood. As it happens, while Nick was away, Adalind came to pick a fight with her. At that moment, Adalind had no idea Juliet had become a witch. She immediately transformed into her witch form and tried to attack Juliet. Juliet hadn't fully mastered her witch powers yet, but she refused to back down. Right after that, the two witches started fighting. However, Adalind was clearly no match for Juliet. She never expected Juliet to become a witch, let alone such a powerful one. In the end, she had to run away in defeat. When Nick got off work, he saw the house in a mess and thought something had happened to Juliet. Once he learned Adalind had been there, he immediately wanted to go after her to get revenge. But Juliet stopped him. She didn't want to hide the fact that she'd become a witch anymore. Then, right in front of Nick, she transformed into her witch form. Nick was instantly terrified. He pulled out his gun and pointed it at Juliet, thinking the woman in front of him wasn't Juliet. She was Adalind in disguise. To prove it was her, Juliet quickly told him many secrets that only the two of them knew, all of which were their private memories. After hearing those secrets, Nick finally realized that the witch in front of him was indeed his beloved fiancée. He then asked in shock how all this had happened to her. Juliet didn't know how she'd become a witch either, but ever since she'd taken Adalind's form to help Nick regain his monster hunter abilities, she'd often felt stomach aches and headaches. As the pain became more frequent, she'd finally turned into a witch. She'd gone to Sean for help to turn back, but it had failed. Hearing Sean's name, Nick's heart was instantly stung. He never thought that when his fiancée was in trouble, the first person she'd turn to wasn't him.
You told him before you told me.
I needed help, Nick.
You should have told me.
I was afraid you were gonna kill me.
Juliet, I would never hurt you. Never.
After hearing Nick's promise, Juliet felt a little better. But when they got ready to rest that night, Nick chose to sleep on the sofa. It was the first time they'd slept in separate rooms in 4 years of being in love. When Juliet approached him, he suddenly made an excuse about having to go to work. It was obvious that Nick minded Juliet being a witch he wasn't as accepting as he'd claimed. After Nick left, Juliet took out the engagement diamond ring Nick had given her, reminiscing about the happy times they'd once shared. But her hand suddenly transformed into a witch's hand. She instantly realized that she and Nick could never be as happy as they used to be. When Nick got off work, Juliet asked him directly, would he still love her now that she was a witch? Nick told her firmly that no matter what she turned into, his love for her would never change. But Juliet suddenly transformed into her witch form and made a request to Nick.